Hey everybody, the Mobile Rager here. It's like 9 in the morning, but got the Season 27 patch notes, and I will note I am currently eating breakfast. You might be able to hear. So I hope this does not intrude on the listenability of this video, but the one hint, the one preliminary info I have on this blog post is the Toon Dev on Discord said it's the most amount of reworks they've done in one season. Considering the length of some of my other rework videos, I've decided to prep in advance. Do the whole video. Hungry when it could take, I don't know, hour plus. Because, like, going off the top of my head, if they follow through on everything they've been trying to follow up on, because, like, a Heartthrob reworks have been promised, Bullfighter reworks have been promised. They said they're going to do skill updates for the gangsters, the dunkers, and the shooters. And they certainly have to get Space Rebels done by this season so they could use half of that team in the tower at all. Or in this current event, or anything. So they need to get that theme squared away. So it could be looking at like 6-7 teams here, because hell, they could drop the last robot member on us just suddenly at the end of the season. And now you gotta get the robot team squared up, and that's, another 7th thing on the plate. Oh, villain buffs too. I know they just got some, but this'll kind of whatever. So, I'm gonna assume we're gonna be here for a while. Alright. Hello again. Well, the Space Emperor's henchmen still roam around everywhere, and the Martian Princess's revolution is on the horizon. We're preparing for the next chapter with some exciting changes to come during this season. First and foremost, we'd like to introduce the Martian Princess's supporters, brave heroes from the 24th and 1/2 future, coming to free us from the silly Martian Empire business. The Space Rebels will receive reinforcements from the valorous Duck Dodgers, the eager young space cadet, and the thrill and star-seeking Starseeker Lola. Go over these changes in the rework section, okay? Now, I will say, I kind of have the advanced know-how. If you paid attention, excuse me, I guess, if you've been paying attention the last few weeks, you'll have noticed, I noticed this back during, like, the Instant Martian event while I was doing the tower or something, that there was a battle with Starseeker Lola that activated his rivalry passive, so I was like, well, she's getting her rework. Furthermore, since the reworked scoundrels already have a pretty well-rounded team, we're giving new homes to 2 of their old members, Witch Lizia and Black Knight Sam, who will be reinforcing other teams. Aside from that, we'll also be doing some big changes to the Knights, which will be explained in a later post. Don't know what they mean by that, unless they mean the events blog. I get a new Knights member. If Black Knight Sam, that'd be like 8 of them, right? Whatever. Because, I mean, they say he's moving to another team. I'm assuming Black Knight Sam's gonna go on the team shares a name with him. As well as General Pandemonium will be receiving his own cohort soon enough. I mean, I think part of the fun of General Pandemonium is he's just used by himself in a team of, or theme of 2 members. But sure, okay. Yeah, Pandemonium, I mean, they could do it. There's like 40 characters in Carrot Blanca, but doesn't mean they need to do it. Again, soon enough. What does that mean? I mean, soon's been like the past 4 months for the Heartthrob. That's a lie, it's been 3 months. As always, these changes may not be final. That is true, okay. Led by Martian Princess Bugs, the Space Rebels are teams based around counterattack and damage over time. Large amounts of active and passive utility to make sure they're constantly active from causing trouble. Ooh. I'm just eating a bagel, I don't know what I'm talking about. Each of their members have reactive capabilities to protect each other or themselves, making them for trickier targets than usual. Of course, they're here to dismantle Space Emperor Marvin's plans. It is also reflected in their theme passive. Rebel's friendship skill, Space Rebel tunes gain 3 counter chance up for 2 turns at start of battle. Well, it's kind of the same thing as, let me a second. I mean, it's like the Outlaw theme skill somewhat. Detectives, right, they literally feature this event. Just pay more attention. It's kind of like detectives. I mean, they're the Martian Empire in there, which is neat. Let's get the actual reworks. Okay. So Duck Dodger's rework. He's no longer on his fake tag. So it's another fake. Like it's Scarlet Pumpernickel and Juggernaut Tweety, I think is a hero. All I'm saying is some of these tags are getting to be slim pickings. Not that you could really use heroes anyway, so you're not like a synergistic team. Alright, numbers I don't understand. He does not steal attack up anymore, which, I mean, it was a bit strange for supposed Marvin rival to do the same thing he does. Space Cadet as an ally gets speed up, which is good because that's on the basic, so we'll counter passively. Alright. Cooldown reduced to 2, warm up increased by 1. Sure, I mean, the same thing to Marvin, right? I think he had to warm up on his move. Alright, deal 155 damage to target enemy. Inflicting 3 damage over time for 3 turns. Then, for each damage over time on that tune, inflict recovery down for 2 turns. Alright, enough screwing around. Okay, this move, oh, right. Because this move didn't have warm up, then he was supposed to use this move turn 2. Okay, and then this is presumably going to do something now. Yeah, it looks like an actual move. Remove turn meter from target enemy. Grant all team members 2 piercing up for 2 turns, and all Space Rebel team members 2 counter chance up for 2 turns. Then inflict damage over time on all enemies, increasing the duration. Oh, I was preliminarily reading it. I thought that it would have increased the amount by 1. Okay, up to 5 turns total for each counter chance up on this tune. Sure, I mean it's a 2 cooldown move with a question mark. I can't. I wouldn't say the wiki. I mean, there is a wiki, but it sucks. I'm getting off topic. I don't know the cooldown move. I'm just gonna assume it's Toad. Move on with my life. Alright, the first time this tune falls below 50% max health, heal it for 15% max health, gain sure dodge, and unless incapacitated, deals 75% damage to the attacking enemy. While in arena, gain the sure dodge for 2 turns instead. Okay, so they're presumably an arena team. Twice per each of this tune's turns, and unless incapacitated, whenever an enemy defender gains taunt or is overhealed, attack them for 50% damage, and grant piercing up to all team members for 2 turns. Okay, presumably one of them has some form of taunt denial. Now he has Cloak and Dagger too. It's better than Tank Buster, I'll say that. And also procs on overheal, which is good. Because it sort of presumably cycle the piercing up free, because if they get hit for 50% damage, then they get, healed passively, like, say, you're fighting the Divine with them, and Hermes goes. Bada bing, bada boom, that's another pew. Okay, that was also here. I mean, I guess it makes sense. They would both want to have the same attacks. Yeah, we'll go home. Let's keep looking. I was gonna say, a cadet had taunt for some reason. Very strange. Okay, deal. Target enemy to random. Yeah, and here's another old tune with incredibly strange wording. Losing a random debuff? What does that mean? The same amount of damage that cleanses the stat down from all team members. And if dodges as an ally, he gets healed. And this has more heal power. Cleanses. Gets buffs on counter chance, so he might work as a probably work as like an outlaw support or something if you really wanted him to. I mean, I say, why would you? But it's, I mean, the outlaws. They don't have great supports, is what I'm trying to say. Like with the buffs they got a bit ago, Hawk with no name is actually pretty deadly. Like losing 1 bullet at a time as compared to 2, pretty impactful. Okay, cooldown at max reduced by 1. Interesting. Perhaps they think the move is a little OP otherwise. I mean, the old move is very Friar Porky-esque, in a way. What am I talking about, in a way? No, it's just like 60% the same move Friar Porky has. But of course it's pretty different now. I mean, it removes taunt, which is good, because this activates when they gain taunt, so being able to take their taunt away from like a countess or something, for instance. It will, like, an auto taunter that will gain it right back, or like a Lunar Toro, Lunar Draghorn for that example too. Private Elmer, plenty of auto taunters. They gain him back and then you get more Duck Dodger triggers, so very nice. Didn't he have, I'm confused saying he had taunt as well. Carry deals taunt to the target enemy, inflicting all enemies 2 damage over time and 3 attack down, while in arena, inflict 3 attack down for 2 turns instead. Okay. Coolio. Once per ally, unless incapacitated, When an ally falls below 50% health. I think that's only triggered once before. Could be wrong. I mean, I guess I could open the game right now. Yeah, and then his other passive was while he taunted. It was so. I looked at it because I wanted to do Duck Dodgers reworks for fun. And like, this Toon has an incredibly weird skill set. He's a support, but like, he has largely taunt based benefits, but he only gains taunt. He's part of a theme that's had like 6 tunes ever. Very strange. Okay, so max health heal, they get their stun cleanse, which is nice. And now it's conditional if nobody else has taunt. He gains taunt and extra max health too. So like he becomes a tank for 1 turn, which is fun. Okay, while his tunes in battle space will team with a 10% defense for each counter chance up they have, unless incapacitated. And for a team member performs a counterattack, have 2 or less heal over time, grant them heal over time for 2 turns, otherwise grant them attack up. Yeah, on the Steam Skull, should not explore anymore. So, I mean, it's not like this tune was super good. I mean, probably 75% turn meter removal. The 5 counter chance up, man, they didn't even care. Now, Starstreaker, strange character. Okay, so this gets a damage buff. It loses all the counter chance, but inflicts defense down now. So I guess a warm-up increase but a cooldown decrease. It's kind of like she's gonna be like Villain Sylvester. She just gets to use her basic first turn. But now it does like way more damage. Flips some stat ups. I mean, removes less turn meter. We saw 50% turn meter. That's a lot of turn meter, man. Alright, let's get some warm up, but a cooldown reduction. Yeah, I think I did 3 before. Deal 90% damage to all enemies. The defense damage over time for 2 turns. So it's additional damage over time on all hidden enemies. So it's 3 for hidden enemies. And this tune is plus 10% attack up for each counter chance up it has. First time this tune falls below 50% max health, gains sure counter and unless incapacitated. Stun the enemy with the highest turn meter, while in arena, gain a sure counter for 2 turns instead. While this tune remains in battle, whenever an enemy team member damages an enemy with damage over time, they gain attack up and flip a random cooldown. This tune had cooldown resets before. Strange. Okay, weird things going on. She's getting a split on her archetype passive for whatever reason. Sure. That's about it. Yep, okay, so that's all the Space Rebels. There's only 3 of them. As the rest of our old team has already moved on, admittedly, yeah, I don't know if you want to use Witch Lizzie. I mean, certainly not without stat buffs. They decided to bring Witch Lizzie over to the glorious Martian Empire, fitting a more generic support role, which is nice, because the other Dodgers is a Battle Pass tune, so if you're for some maniacal reason, both A, have high ranking, Martian Empire tunes, but don't have the Dodgers Battle Pass. Yeah, you can do this. Although, I do kind of wish now they do it for Space Rebels. I mean, it's an all Reworks team anyways, but the only actual new member is a 3,000 piece tune. They're like Cthulhu Sam in there, something. I mean, does he? Yeah, he already has counter, I think. Maybe just a crazy man. Okay, so she is Martian Empire now. This does less damage. Okay, so that move now heals. Alongside buffed DOT and heal over time. Shenanigery. Okay, it lasts a shorter amount of time, but there's more of it, so. This one evens out. And then with their special buff, she gets the cleanse stat down. Yeah. Cooldown, yes, anyway, I mean, 90 damage, but it's kind of the standard fare at this point. They've beaten me that low. Silencing all enemy supports and removing 20% turn meter from all other enemies. Gain hidden for 2 turns while in arena, inflict DOT as well. Okay, cool. Once per turn, when a team member falls below 50% max health, grant them 2 heal over time. When an enemy falls below 50% heal over time, inflict them 3 damage over time. Okay. At the start of each tune's turns, if it's hidden and isn't incapacitated, flip 3 random stat up on each enemy. At the start of battle, and if this tune has at least 1 Martian Empire and ally, gain hidden for 2 turns. Okay. Oh, this is this is the wrong theme skill. Nice copy and paste job, yes. I know it wasn't in this document, but you could borrow it like 2 patch notes ago. For Martian Empire theme skill. Okay. Cool. Okay. I'm giving Black Knight Sam a roll in the Knights. Okay, so this is part of the Knights. As a critical hit focus second attacker, complete with taunt removal. Good to see. You do like taunt removal on your team. We'll keep some of this damage over time themes as well, which can help crack through high defense tones. Not to be a critic, but this is not like the I guess I had a tendency of damage over time tunes now, which is interesting. It's like, we've made it useless. Time to give it to everybody. That's probably not what they're trying to do. But they do have to be less cautious with it. And to be fair, he had it before, so you know what you gonna do. For now, he'll be the only knight with the theme passive, sort of like, there's something where that happened. Oh, it was like Sorceress Petunia for like a week. Where she had the Super Tune theme that didn't exist yet. Well, on the next blog post, when we go over the other knights, they'll all receive it eventually. So you scoundrel no more, bye bye. So I don't know what they mean on the next blog post. The event blog post, the next patch notes, so they're going to do season 27 patch notes part 2. I mean, not to complain, but I don't know what the plan is. Maybe they felt like they had to split it. Because I did just bring up like 6 themes before. And they're adding knights onto that pile, so. Guess this inflicts defense down. You know, you're on knights. You want your defense down. Okay, oh, this moved it. This had a 70 damage multiplier before? What the hell? I mean, it felt like it never did damage before, so I guess fair enough, but really? Okay, sure. But anyways, move can deal actual damage now, and removes taunt, and you inflict damage over time. It's actually longer than before. This guy has some extra arena perks. This move so it has a damage reduction as well as damage reduction. The amount of damage it does is less. Sorry, I think of damage reduction in these kinds of games as entirely different concepts. Yeah, it deals less damage and has less ignore defense. It does have lifesteal now, which is something. And it buffs your team beyond the damage over time mode. Defense up mode, I should say. So piercing and crit damage are cool. It's probably felt like the 4th reworks knights have gotten, but maybe just crazy. And throwing piercing in the mix too. Okay. So as Toon remains in battle, all knight team members have extra crit chance, so maybe a decent pair of Marvin, I think also gains an 8 crit chance. Of course, again, if I do my math correctly, because it's Bugs the Brave, Foghorn, Sylvester, Elmer, Marvin, Tweety. I'm gonna not count Daffy the Braver, because aside from Masterminds, I don't count the rest of them. Like, I don't count Daffy Pirate as a pirate either. It's the way I think about things. That's 7 of them, looking at my hands. Bugs, Foghorn, Sylvester, Elmer, Marvin, Tweety, now Black Knight Sam. So if they add one more, if they add a not completely awful support, which, I mean, hey, if I were adding any new Knights tunes, that's what I would do. Then they could probably run 2 complete Knight teams. I mean, again, probably want to rework Tweety to be in any way an efficient healer. But to get that going, I think you'd have 2 pretty alright Knights teams, assuming there's one with minor damage over time synergy. Okay. So, extra steel resistance, flip resistance, stun immunity. You get the stun immunity, which is nice. I don't remember what trigger type passive he has. I'll really look at it afterwards. Up to 3 times per each of this toon's own turn. When this toon gains 1 or more defense up, gain 10% turn meter. Knight toons gain 3 defense up for 3 turns at the start of battle, once per each of their own turns. Whenever they are healed, they gain defense up. Okay. Oh, I forgot to read this. Up to 3 times for each of this toon's own turns. And it says turn singular, but what else does that mean? When this toon gains 1 or more defense up, gain 10% turn meter. Alright, a little sprinkling turn meter gain in there. Nice to see, nice to see. Anyways. So I was gonna make a wild prediction before I scrolled down of saying they're probably gonna nerf Pandemonium on some tense if he's supposed to actually synergize with the team as opposed to just do all the work for them. Okay, yeah, with General Pandemonium, we're mostly toning him down as a character that's been previously adjusted to modern stat lines. He's proven to be too much of a jack of all trade with his legacy abilities, blah. One could argue that's the point, but like, it's not like you can throw him on any team and just completely 180 the battle. He's not a Star Pharaoh Daffy release version, I guess I should say. Okay, he's not release SPD. He's the like old Star Pharaoh Marvin. There's a lot of things General Pandemonium was not, as best I understand them. That being said, as the way he is, might be too much in a bit of actual coordinated team that follows along with his themes. Arena's line currently balanced and standard regarding warm-ups, damage modifiers, yada yada, blah 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 blah. With this, while we'll be generally making him weaker, he'll remain a powerful attacker that is enabled by the rest of his team, as well as bringing his own capabilities to support his team against certain opponents. Here's changes. Alright, so he's, again, well actually he's getting a lot of health. But, you know, the rest of these are kind of minor number bumps because he got a rework like last year or something. Okay, so slight damage nerf. This one, this is a warm-up. No non-taunt buffs no more. Excuse me. But still, clearing special stats is pretty nice. That's probably what you wanted to target anyways. So it's arguably a buff. I've never really thought about these non-taunt buff removal things in terms of the buff nerf category. But yeah, like this move in particular is kind of taking the sponginess away. But enemy assist, less incapacitated. Just saying they didn't decide to give that to him last time they reworked him. Inflict him 3 defense down and once per turn, deal 65 damage to all enemies at the end of the turn. Yeah. Oh wow, I haven't noticed. Dramatic reduction of defense down. It was for all time before. It was last until you were dead and buried, or you could get medical insurance, I guess, in this weird metaphor. Now it's just like, you know, scraping your knee. Deal 120 damage with extra crit chance. Less innate crit chance than I had before. For each warrant they have, this attack has extra critical damage. Okay. So don't know what that is, assuming they gotta play into his team somehow. Alright, almost incapacitated whenever an enemy attacks during another toon's turn. Gain 20% turn metering in your turn to piercing out. Interesting. Interesting. So it's no longer while his toon's in battle. So it just... Well, I would say it would activate when he's dead, but I don't think that's how that works. Well, you get extra piercing turn meter, so that's probably a benefit. Okay, while in Alliance Wars, Pandemonium Patrol, so that's the name of his team. Pandemonium Patrol team members, plus 10% tax, while this toon remains in battle and is placed on offense. Probably should get a proofreader for these. Enemies with warrant have minus 20% max health. So, well, the theme skills. Whoop. You didn't read that. Yeah, it's weird. He hasn't Alliance War skills before as a member of 2. And you wouldn't even use Officer Prissy with a 1 because Officer Prissy sucks. And 2. No, 1 is pretty much all the reason you need. I mean, before Barnyard, there were no good Prissy tunes. Well, go back 5 years ago when Miss Prissy originally released, when OG Prissy originally released, then yeah, I think she was solid. Okay, I mean they probably worked this in somehow, but I'm not gonna think about it. Okay. Pandemonium Patrol tunes inflict warrant for the rest of the battle on enemies that attack them outside of that enemy's own turn. So counterattacks, assists. I think that's literally everything. Passive abilities may trigger this. Results inconclusive. It's not actually in game yet. Attacks against enemies with warrant have 20% critical chance and plus 25% critical damage for each stack they have. Interesting. And nothing has suggested from what I've read so far that there's a limit to this. So, like 5 stacks of this is 100% crit chance and 125% critical damage. So that seems pretty good to me. I mean, attacks outside their own turn, plenty of teams do that. You know, like, they just released like 2 different... It's literally a counterattack team in this blog post. You know, like, I don't think this is gonna make Pandemonium useless or anything. He's just not gonna be a very good plug and play character, which admittedly is an interesting decision. Okay. Ooh, and balance changes. They did not mention balance changes. Okay. In this season, we're not tweaking any individual tune. I mean, throw the bullfighters in there, but it's fine. Putting in some restrictions for certain gadget activations. Empowering one of our older archetype passives. Interesting. An archetype passive buff. Huh. Well, ain't that an idea? I might do something if this video is over. And placing additional conditions on the end of the damage immunity granted by Super Tune's team passive. So, interesting. So not only are there gadget changes, since they had to nerf Slippery Oil since it turned literally every team in the game into a dodge team. I certainly remember Fiends becoming a dodge team with Slippery Oil, and frankly that's all the nerf justification you need, in my opinion. Because again, this is like, gadgets came out like 2021, so the team was still good. They still had like top par stats. This isn't like a 2022 Fiends. Like a 23. Yeah, this is not like a 22, 23 Fiends being able to be a dodge team. Yeah, with the stat difference, you could get over it. No. This was not quite their prime. Because it still had, you know, like the imp strategy nerf activated. And they nerfed the super tunes, and I told them, they don't watch my videos, but I told them, why would you make super tunes worse? Why would you make them more annoying? But okay. I mean, I don't know if this is gonna be like, you have to have a super tune ally in battle or something. You have to start with full health or something stupid. But because the super tune's team passive is the one that gives them it at the start of battle, I believe. So we'll see what these are, because they, besides from the archetype passive buff, kind of seem like nerfs. Okay. Interesting. Weird. I mean, okay. Admittedly, I was, you know, reading the page like this, so I saw them and figured they wouldn't buff them because they're kind of some of the best gadgets in the game. But well, first of all, you nerf carrot juice? It's kind of just worse palms. I don't understand the nerf to carrot juice. Like, in most instances, I feel like you'd rather run spiked palms. I will say, this specifically is probably not what they were going for, but indirect nerf to aristocrats. I feel like Melissa gets great use out of counterattack spiked palms runoffs. I mean, okay, again, the same thing could apply to carrot juice, I'm aware. But why not just do like a actual carrot juice rework, a give and take, you know, like Pandemonium. And I mean, okay, if, you know, boxing sticks, you murder the entire enemy. Well, if you murder the entire enemy team, who cares? Like, what does that matter? Again, thinking of, you know, tunes that make explicit great use of boxing sticks. You know, someone like Yokai Taz kills one at a time anyways. Daffy Hood gains 75% turn meter innately, so it kinda doesn't matter. You know, Gentleman Pepe, I mean, okay, this is past tense, but most of his moves silence anyways, well, yeah, Once Upon Yonder. Does he even have the ability to turn? Well, it could proc off his teammates. Yeah, the way the rest of that team were, I mean, I would say something as ludicrously insane as preemptively nerfing Gentleman Pepe by nerfing the entirety of boxing sticks. But no, that's too crazy. That's dramatic overkill. Probably. I mean, I would assume they just nerf the actual character harder. Not that he really needs it in the first place. I mean, if they give him over 10 stats. But honestly, I was kind of the camp before they gave 75% of the game warm-ups on their AoEs. If this is like truly deciding too much of the battle, maybe those tunes should just do less damage, like nerf the damage the AoEs do, or you know, the attack stat of the tune wielding them. But I guess it's a bit of a bygone thing now. Okay. So if you're balancing gadgets, can I employ some ideas? Devs, I don't know if you've noticed, but about half of your gadgets are useless. I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I was harping on carrot juice, but it's not anger. It's better than anger pills. It's better than, you know, better than slippery oil, probably. I mean, slippery oil is, you know, at least usable. Like, it's better than anger pills. It's better than whatever the hell the boomerang thing is. Probably, I'd say it's better than radioactive carrots. Like, I mean, again, with like oil and carrots and even squeaky cleaners, there's a degree of like niche. Like, there's some tunes that could use them. You know, you could throw Slippery in on Dodge team to slide in a couple extra dodge chances, and it'd probably work out fine. But some of these gadgets, man, some of them think about it. Might be a secondary video idea to the archetype passes video. I'm gonna spoil that here. Okay, alright. This tune has 25% ignore defense while attacking enemies. Yeah, so again, ignore defense is... Again, I'm actually gonna make a note of this. Took me a long time to figure this one out for some reason. But piercing and ignore defense are not the same thing. For whatever reason, I had it in my mind that ignore defense was just the old term for piercing, and something like 50% piercing was just 50% of the enemy defense ignored. No, piercing is a separate stat, and the amount of piercing you have determines the amount of ignored defense you have. Something like 100 piercing is not 100% ignore defense. It's 50 or something. I think there's a formula to it, and it's very strange. It threw me for a loop when I figured it out. So, I mean, yeah, 25% ignore defense, that's pretty solid. I mean, I feel like, and I make the same argument for the crit passive. Precision, I think is what it's called. Because most of these, like, innate secondary things here, I'm going to go to the tune page to make an example of things. Going on a bit of a tangent here, but stick with me. I guess daunting presence, weird. Okay. Here, I know what to do. Wrong one. I'm great with names. If you look here at Muggsy, he doesn't have... Alright, thank you, game. Thank you very much. Maybe I'll look at the other Muggsy. Okay, he has a strange leadership. Okay, he also has inspired protector. I'm going to have a brain meltdown. And Ralph. Yes, he has Cloak and Dagger. So you look at something like Cloak and Dagger. This is not the greatest example. The point is, the way I viewed theme passives, if they had some sort of side effect like this, because most of them, you know, like you look at Strength or Hardy, it's just innate stat buffs, you know, it's 40% attack or 30% defense or health or, you know, well-rounded. The archetype 90% of supports have, because the rest of the support passives are terrible. Yeah. It's like, this is neon all, but this is probably a nitpick, because, again, it's significantly better than it was before. Like, again, you could be old Tank Buster, where it was just 40% damage, and it did nothing. It did nothing, it was useless. You could... you know, add 15% attack or whatever. But it's fine. It's fine. It's a buff. Honestly, I'd be down for more of this. I'm sure that has large balancing implications or something, but they haven't gotten around to being reworked yet. I think they'll be okay if a buff kicks in. Okay, yeah, and again, the thing they probably should have gotten rid of in the first place. The thing that prevents them from gaining damage immunity for the rest of time. Very good balance change. I'm not gonna be taking a nap piss today. That being said, I think this is all I'm gonna have to say. I can ramble incoherently about, you know, that I should buff this gadget or this archetype passive for the next 15 minutes. But I'm gonna save those for their own videos, because I've been talking for like 50 minutes. probably could have waited on a lunch break. I thought this was going to be like an hour and a half thing, to be honest, because as I brought up at the beginning of the video, might have forgotten, like 6 preliminary reworks going on this season. 7th if you count the nights, but I'm assuming they're going to be finished this season. Just a guess. Anyways, this is the Mobile Rager. I'm signing off. That's all, folks. I forgot my outro for a second.